Hey there, hope you're doing well. In this video, I wanted to share my perspective with regards to the honest truth about time freedom, okay, and why I personally will probably never go back to a 9-to-5 job. Now, I say it like that because I wouldn't necessarily want to make the declaration of saying I would never go for sure, just because you never know what kind of opportunities lie ahead, right? Who knows what's ahead of me? It could happen one day that I get presented with an opportunity, an offer that is just ridiculous to refuse, right? But even having said that, with some of the things I will share in this video, even with that kind of opportunity, there's a very, very big chance that I probably would still turn it down. But hey, you never know. Like they say, everybody has a price, right? Anyway, if you're joining me for the first time, my name is Christian. Welcome to my channel. I am Christian M, a place where I decided to document my journey to financial independence. And by financial independence, for the sake of everyone being on the same page, all I'm simply referring to is getting to that point where we're generating enough in true and real passive income to cover our living expenses. So if you are into that kind of stuff, please do me a favor, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you're notified every single time I release a new video. Now, just for some context, just to give you a little bit of an idea of where I'm coming from, I need to at least let it be known that yes, I have worked 9-to-5 jobs, multiple, right? I've had different kind of jobs, right? Corporate jobs, blue collar, right? And all that. I've done it all, right? From washing cars to, a corporate desk job, right? And I have also experienced time freedom, right, with entrepreneurship. For those of you who don't know, what I do for the most part is, digital marketing, affiliate marketing, more specifically, right? And, I also, to be even more specific, I like to focus more so on digital products as opposed to physical products, for the simple fact that there's more margins, right? With physical products, you have there is only but so much you can make in terms of affiliate commissions, especially, right? If you are an affiliate as opposed to an owner of a product, right? With affiliate commissions on physical products, the margins are even smaller, right? So that's why I tend to focus more on digital products, where you can, whether it's me creating the product or somebody else's product that I'm promoting as an affiliate, they just, you just create it once and it's there. It's a digital product. You can sell it over and over and over and over again, right? There's no inventory to manage and all that type of stuff. So great margins as well. So that is primarily it. Okay. And if that is something that is of interest to you and you would like to learn how to do, I would highly encourage you to check out the first link in the description below this video. It will show you, it'll go into a little more detail showing you how I generate affiliate commissions, right? It's basically another YouTube video. And then, under that particular YouTube video, you'll be able to get access to some training that will show you how to get started, with the right foundation, okay? Giving you the best chance for long-term success, at least from what I found with my experience with all this, right? And I know that all the biggest players online and even offline, they use this particular basic framework that gives them the chance for long-term success. So that first link in the description below this video will show you, we'll go into a little more detail showing you how I do all of that, okay? It'll probably be another video, and then under that video, you'll be able to get access to a link that will give you access to more training, all right? Showing you how to do everything step by step, right? So when it comes to time freedom, right, it's one of those things that once you've experienced it, right, it's extremely hard to go back, okay? It's extremely, extremely hard to go back. Unlike a lot of people, or a lot of stories that you'll hear, the typical story of people getting online, wanting to make a little extra money and all that type of stuff. You'll typically hear people saying, that they were skeptical, they thought it was a scam and all that type of stuff, right? That's the usual story until they got into it and then found out, oh no, this stuff is legit, they can make a bunch of money, blah, blah, blah. Or you'll typically hear people talking about how they just got into it because they just wanted to make a little, a couple extra $100 or $1,000 a month, or whatever the case may be, just to support their bills. They never in a million years imagined that they would be able to move on, to go on and do it full time, right? Now, my case, the story's a little different, right? Right from the get-go, I was one of those who pretty much was already sold on the dream, so to speak, right from the start, okay? Like, I'm one of those who, right from the get-go, I wanted it all from the start. I was not skeptical. You can say I was gullible maybe, but I'm actually pretty, like, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say like I'm a skeptical person naturally. It's just more so I'm pretty diligent, right? Going and checking out stuff and making sure everything looks the way I would like it to look, or the way I think it looks, or the way it's being presented and all that type of stuff. But for the most part, once I understood the whole business and how everything worked, I was sold right from the start. Okay. Like, I didn't go in needing to be convinced that this stuff actually works. Okay. And at the same time, I wasn't one of those people that just came in with the hopes of just making a little extra couple $100 here. The typical story you'll hear. Right from the start, I wanted it all, right? I came in with the intent of actually wanting to make this my thing, right? Full time, and go the distance, right? Making, my mentality is more of that. Even if the odds are stacked against me, and, because generally speaking, right, with this stuff, the majority of people who get on this, who try to do this stuff, they fail, right? They don't succeed. That's the overwhelming majority, but not because it is complicated rocket science or any of that type of stuff. It's just most people don't have the patience and maybe, maybe the discipline required to do this type of stuff, right? It's just like losing weight, right? Most people know what they need to do to lose weight, right? It's not rocket science. It's stuff that we need to do in order to lose weight and be healthy and all that. It's just most of us, myself included, don't really have that strong willpower or discipline to make sure that we're constantly doing exactly everything we're supposed to be doing to be as healthy as, as fit as a fiddle, whatever the case may be, right? So that's it's the same concept that applies to, the requirements, the things you need to do to be able to be successful online with digital marketing, affiliate marketing. And it's this aspect of being consistent and disciplined and, open to learning and all that type of stuff. So that was, my mindset from the get-go was I was going to be, I just needed to know that, okay, if, let's say, even if, 97% or 95, whatever the number is, right, 97% of people fail, all that was enough for me was to know that the 3%, there's a 3% out there, right, that succeeds with this, so it's possible. And I don't see any reason why I can't be part of that 3%. That was my mentality right from the start. I didn't care how long it was going to take me, right? I always said, I'm going to do this stuff, and I'm going to keep going at it until I'm, 60, 65, 70 if I have to, right? That was just my mentality, right? So for years, for the longest time, and even now to a certain extent, you get to a point, sometimes you feel like you're chasing your tail because you're putting in everything and maybe things are not working or you're not doing things the right way. But then I finally started to see, a little bit of success and enough success to give me the courage to go ahead and quit my 9-to-5 job, right? Okay. Now, if I can admit that maybe it was something that I did prematurely, right? But knowing, everybody's got to know themselves, right? For me, it was one of those things that I needed to do in order to propel and move myself forward, because knowing that I had that comfort of a steady paycheck coming through enabled me to just take, days that I didn't feel like working on the affiliate, like the online business, I would take off, just because it's like, okay, well, after all, even if I don't do the work, I still have money come in that will take care of my bills and all that type of stuff, right? But once I got to that point, right, where I was able to leave, I went ahead and left, right? And having tasted that freedom, that time freedom that comes with running, like being an entrepreneur, running your own, doing your own thing, essentially, right? Doing your own thing, not necessarily having to work, to answer to somebody else, right? That's one of my biggest appeals, one of the things that appeals to me so much about like affiliate marketing, or, a lot of the companies that I work with or that I decide to partner with, like, they're not breathing down your neck, making sure that, you're sending sales and all that. They don't care. Not that they don't care. Obviously, they'll like you to send sales, but they're not gonna come after you or cut you loose if you're not making, well, some of them will, if you're not generating sales for them. But nobody, whatever the case may be, is nobody's breathing down your neck to do anything, right? And you have that ability to control your time. You have all the freedom, right? In terms of like doing scheduling your, time that you decide to work or time that you decide to take off, right? The beauty of not having to ask for permission to take a vacation and all that type of stuff, so all that stuff is great. But at the same time, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's one of those things which, if you do not have some kind of structure, if you don't have some kind of structure with your day-to-day activities and stuff that you do with your with your business, or while trying to grow your business and all that type of stuff, you will find yourself in a situation where you are literally, like, you're basically chasing your tail, right? Doing busy work that is not, there's the danger, right? So the danger of not having any kind of structure or anybody telling you what to do, when to do it, and all that type of stuff, right? If you don't really pay attention to what's going on and making sure that you're doing the things that you have to do, the danger with that is there's this illusion of having more time than you actually have. Like, you just feel like you have, it's okay, like, I can do that later. I've got time, I've got time, nobody's, and because of that, you can see yourself in a position, you can see yourself wasting a lot of time, right? You get to a point where you're wasting a lot of time, and you turn around, time has gone by, and you look back and you ask yourself, what did you really do, right? Like, what did you really accomplish? That's the trap, right? That's the danger of having that time freedom, okay? Of having that time freedom, especially if you've not reached that stage of true financial independence, right? Where whether you work or you don't work, you still have money coming in, right? That would, once you get to that, now that is real time freedom, right? Because the realm, I'm talking about time freedom, but I'm still confined by the fact that I actually still have to put in the work to make the money that I would be making, right? Doing what I'm doing, because I'm not financially independent, right? So that's it's a double-edged sword, right? It has everything. It's like everything else. It has its pros, it has its cons, but the cons can be extremely dangerous. Okay, like the outcome, the result, like, they can be extremely harmful. Let's just put it that way, right? Like, it can be extremely harmful. So the biggest thing when it comes to having that time freedom, if yours is like establishing some kind of structure for yourself. And that is one thing that I can be upfront and honestly say that I've fallen short on so much, right, over time. Like, and even now, I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like I'm perfect, or like I have all my stuff down to a T, and I'm, like I've got everything perfect and I don't waste any time or I don't lose. I still, every now and then, I still catch myself, falling in that trap, right? Catch myself, doing what they call, I don't know, maybe busy work and pushing off some of the things that I know I really need to be doing, but I just keep procrastinating because I know, I can do it later or I've got time. And, before you know it, time catches up with you sometimes. And it's like, okay, you need to get things moving. Otherwise you're gonna be in trouble, right? And I've been there, trust me. Like I have been, I've been in those, troublesome periods, right? Those troublesome times, right? Where I think you're not able to keep up, with your responsibilities and stuff like that. I've been there, right? So it's really a double-edged sword. And it's just one of those things that once you get it down, right? Like once you have everything running smoothly the way it is the most beautiful thing, right? Having that time, like controlling your time and being able to, do to a certain extent, do what you want when you want to do it, right? To a certain extent. And I say that because obviously there's certain things, I mean, you need more money, right? There are certain things that if you don't have enough money, you just can't do, right? So ultimately that's where getting to, building your business, growing your revenue on a monthly basis, that's where all that stuff comes into play, right? And it's all in stages, all in phases and all that. And here's the other thing, like with reference to going back to a 9-to-5 job, like after you've experienced being able to just kind of, own your 24 hours, let's just put it that way. That's the best way I can put it. Like, after you've experienced owning your 24 hours, not having to answer to, anyone at any time in relation when it comes to like work, is by far the best thing, which is why I remember, when I think about it, like for instance, I remember having, let's just say for instance right now, this is just me painting a picture, for example, right? I would much rather have my time freedom, okay? Being able to control my time, doing what I want, when I want, right? As far as the money I have permits, right? I would much rather that making, let's just say, for example, just making only $50,000 a year. And, that only, when I say only, that's relative, right? That's relative. To some people, that's great. To some people, that's nothing, right? But I would much rather have my time freedom, controlling my time, running my online business, doing what I have, making only $50,000 a year, as an example, than to have to clock in every day at a 9-to-5, right? Or maybe, commute to, the office every day and all that type stuff, making, say, $100,000 a year, right? That's a fair enough comparison, right? I would much rather be making 50 a year, having my time freedom, than having 100,000, than making 100,000 a year going to. Now, this is where what I said earlier in the video comes into play, right? When I said, I shouldn't say, I wouldn't get up here and declare and say never, because you just never know, never going back to a 9-to-5, because you never know what kind of opportunity presents itself to you in the future. I would be crazy if let's just say, for example, in the future, just met whoever, some important person, whatever the case may be, I got thrown an opportunity where I would have to work, right, a 9-to-5 job, right, clock in, what would be a typical 9-to-5 job, and then I'm just throwing a number, let's just say I was making, where they would be paying me $5 million a year, right, like, okay, that's, CEO level type stuff, but just think about it, right, like, I would be lying, right, if I told you that I were to be offered that, making $5 million a year, versus having my time freedom and only making 50,000 a year, right? So again, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just everything has its price, right? If that kind of opportunity came by, of course I'll take it. Like, go do it for a year or two, rack up some money, right, and then quit, that type of stuff, and then ultimately come back to. But you get the idea, right? It's all relative. It's what's more important to you as an individual. You know, like if, let's say, for example, if you have kids and all that type of stuff, right? Wouldn't you that time freedom to be able to have your own online business so that you can be home and not missing any of the important milestones of any of your kids and all that type of stuff, right? Because you're able to control your time and have that time freedom, as opposed to maybe you're making a little bit more money, right? Like, but then you have to go to a 9 to 5. You always got to take permission to take your kids to the doctor, whatever the case may be, or take permission to get time off to go on vacation, all that type of stuff, or take permission for all that. Like, you get the picture, okay? You get the picture. So that's just one of those that's just one of those things that each and every individual has got to take into consideration. And I will add this as well, okay? This is not one of those videos where it's like having a 9 to 5 is bad and blah blah. No. If you have a 9 to 5 and you love it and it's great, fantastic, right? Good for you, right? Because from what I understand, the majority of people, at least here in the U.S., the majority of people don't necessarily like their jobs. But if you are one of those fortunate few, or fortunate ones in the minority who actually love then good for you, right? This whole entrepreneurship is not for everybody, right? Just like having a 9 to 5 is not necessarily for everybody, right? Like, so it's just everybody's got to know themselves and what works for them. But what I will say is that, I think it's after having experienced time freedom, and this would go for anybody, I think, or for most people who are inclined to want to leave their 9 to 5s and do go the entrepreneurship route and all that. After having experienced time freedom, I think it's going to be very hard to want to go back or be pushed back. It's going to be hard to want to go back to a 9 to 5. Okay, that's just, again, that like I said, this is just my perspective, what I've lived, what has been my experience. For somebody else, it might be completely different. Okay, so this is just my experience, my perspective of the truth about what it's like having, that time freedom, right? Versus, this is not the truth. Let me just put it that way, right? Because this is just my perspective. Somebody else's might be completely different. Somebody can, another person can hear everything I'm saying and saying that and just completely disagree and say that it's complete garbage, right? Like, they completely disagree, and which is fine, right? We're all different. That's what makes this world, a beautiful place. The diversity of thought, diversity of way of life, and all that type of stuff. So anyway, let me know about some of your experiences, what you think about time freedom, if you've had it before, if when it comes to like work and all that type of stuff, and what you think about it, what your thoughts are on what I've said, whether you agree, disagree. If it shed some light onto, seeing a different perspective, let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate it. But having said that, if you are interested in getting started learning how to sell digital products, whether it's creating your own and selling them as the owner, or selling other people's digital products that have already been made, and you sell as an affiliate for a commission, right? Check out that first link in the description below this video. That will take you. They'll take you to another video, right? That will show you how to get started, and take it from there. All right. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll catch you in my next one. Ciao.